Hello everybody and welcome to the first episode of a show I'm going to be calling Explain It Like I'm Six Strings. A show where basically I'm going to explain to you how to play guitar, but I'm going to do it operating under the assumption that you have no prior knowledge to anything music related. So with that in mind, I'm going to start as simply as possible, and we're not even going to use the guitar first. I'm going to explain to you the 12 basic notes of music that are used in modern music today, both Western and Eastern. And basically it operates off of a scale from the letters A to G, which is 7 letters, and then it has 5 sharps and or flats, which makes a total of 12 different notes that you have to learn. And most guitar videos will go in assuming that you know that basic stuff, but if you've never done band in elementary school, if you've never done anything like in middle school, high school, any time in your academic career, which is possible, you probably don't know even that basic step. So I'm going to start as simply as possible and go over that on a keyboard. The reason why I'm using a keyboard is because if you'll see the way the keyboard's set up, it actually makes it a lot easier to learn these notes and everything, which is why you see music teachers and stuff like that don't have a keyboard set up. So I'm going to start by explaining this musical alphabet to you as best I can. And I'm going to start with, like the regular alphabet, we're going to start with A. Now you can find the A, because if you look at this group of 3 right here, it'll be the second one right here. So you start with A, gonna go over to B, C, D, E, F, G, and then back to A. So the white keys are your basic letters and everything. When it gets a bit more complicated is when you go into the black keys up here and what they represent. The black keys represent those sharps or flats that I mentioned before. Like I said, I'm not gonna bring up anything that I haven't already mentioned in this video or a previous one. So if we go to A, start here, we go up a half step. Going from here to one of these black keys, when the black key is present, is known as going up a half step. So you go A, up a half step to A sharp, and then to B. Now if you notice here, there's no black key, so there's no sharp or flat. So instead of going to B sharp or something like that, which doesn't exist, you will go from B to C, and then from C up to C sharp, to D, to D sharp, E, F, F sharp, G, G sharp, and then back to A, so on and so forth. Now, just to mention real quick, from A, let's say I start from A, and I go up the 12 notes, and I return back to A. Going from here to here, this A note is 1 octave lower than this A. And I'll explain what that means later on in another video. Okay? So, the one thing you need to take away from this is not every note has a sharp or a flat, and those notes that don't are B going to C and E going into F. Okay? Cool. So we can set this down. You understand the 12. Just if you gotta rewind the video, re-listen to what I said, that's perfectly natural, understandable. So we're just gonna set this down for now. And we're gonna go to what we really came here to learn, and that's guitar. Now guitar is set up a little different. Whereas the piano has 88 keys set up in a horizontal line, easy to see and everything. The guitar is 6 strings set up across roughly 19, 21 frets and everything. So it's a string that can be manipulated across the 19 frets, making up about roughly 114 different notes that can be played on here. So we're not going to go into a whole bunch of all this stuff and all that stuff. Not today. We're not going to go over that today. We're going to go simply just open tuning and what these strings represent. So I'm not even going to use this hand again for the rest of the video. I'm just going to go over this and make sure you understand what this is. When you play a string without using your left hand, it is called playing the string. One second. Hope you make it safe. Hope you have a safe flight. All right. Back to what I was saying. Playing a string without the utilization, that's the word. The utilization of your left hand is called playing a string open. So if you play these strings open, they represent a letter, like I said before. So the notes or letters that the strings represent, starting from the thickest string closest to you, is E, A, D, G, B, and E. E, A, D, G, B, E. The way to understand that and to remember that is using a mnemonic device. One that a friend of mine helped me remember because I had this friend. His name was Eddie, and we were at lunch one day, and he just, I don't know why he chose to eat this for lunch, but it didn't end well for him. You see, he ate dynamite. That's what happened. He chose to bring dynamite with him, and Eddie ate dynamite, and I had to say goodbye to Eddie. It's real tragic, but it helped me remember this, because I know that Eddie ate dynamite. Goodbye, Eddie. That's how you remember it. E-A-D. Eddie ate dynamite. G-B-E. Goodbye, Eddie. Now, if you ask me, I think goodbye is just one word. Don't fact check me on that, but we're just gonna say it's two, just for the sake of making this easier to remember. Okay. So Eddie ate dynamite. Goodbye, Eddie. Okay. Cool. Now, EAD, GBE, it's called standard tuning. It's standard tuning because it's the tuning that most guitars and stringed instruments like this are brought to in order to play certain songs in modern music and everything. There's other tunings, there's drop D tuning, there's a whole half step down, there's a whole bunch of other stuff. There's different frequency related tunings that people use, but for now, we're just gonna go over that for today. Okay? So remember, the 12 notes of music, open tuning, playing a note open, and I'm sorry, not open tuning, standard tuning, and playing one of these strings open. So all we're gonna cover for today. Just keep doing that, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you so much for watching, and I don't know when I'm catching you with this, so I'll say good afternoon, good evening, and good night.